Hey everybody, how you doing? We've got a fun, fact-filled heritage auction preview coming your way tonight. I hope everybody's enjoyed the many nights off. It's kind of weird having 4 straight days of no shows or whatever it's been, but it's good to be back. And I've got my good friend Joe in the green room, so let me bring him in and we'll get to talking. Hey Joe, how you doing?
All right. How is everyone?
I think everybody's doing fine.
Good.
Like we were talking, not too long ago. We're all excited about the upcoming show in a few weeks. I did finally get the list from Heritage, so I saw your name wasn't on there. I thought for sure you might be able to swing a trip down to Orlando in the middle of winter.
We're not ruling it out. We may do it. We may
Okay.
do it. But if we do, we're just gonna. I mean, Xavier's coming. They're setting up a booth.
Mhm.
So we are manned and everything's good. But Nadia and I may drop by. We'll see.
Well, we would love to have you if you could make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. We next year I'll be a little bit better about these sorts of things, but yeah, it was my hope. I didn't know who Xavier was planning on bringing. We didn't get the list until I think, gosh, for maybe like last Friday. So, and I know that Jim I think was actually in town. I think that numismatic show was this weekend or last weekend. I totally forgot about it. I didn't even reach out to him.
Yeah. It was this past weekend. So he's just getting back. Yeah.
Well,
We had a conference call today, and everything went well.
well, that's good.
Yeah.
So we've got another signature auction on tap. Starts on Thursday.
Yeah.
Platinum auction.
Yeah.
And
You can actually ask me when does it start? Yeah, it starts on Thursday at 12.
is it Central or is it Eastern though?
12 o'clock Central. I actually copy and pasted it this time. Yeah.
All right. See, I've been trained not to ask you that question. Well, Scott Wingo says he hopes to see you at OAX. His fingers are crossed as well.
Yeah. If I don't see him there, maybe I'll see him in North Carolina. Next time I go, I will get in touch, see if we could meet for lunch.
There you go. So we got a lot to, there's a lot of pieces that you picked for the preview tonight, but there are, there are a lot of really great pieces in the auction. I went through the catalogs yesterday, and great pieces on the high end, and I think really good selection of kind of just even average pages that a lot of people can afford as well, like in the later days too. So I think there's a really a nice set of things for the people that everybody can afford,
Yeah.
which is nice. So, but I know we've picked up a lot of really I don't know. There's a lot of important pieces that you picked out for us to look at tonight. But if you had to kind of define what this signature auction is in terms of the pieces that you've helped consign, I mean, how would you kind of put your mark?
There's a lot of stories behind the scenes, and some sad, some good, some a lot of convention goers might have known Kevin Brogan. He was a fixture at the Baltimore Comic Con, and they used to call him Mr. DC. Well, sadly, Kevin, who wasn't that old, got COVID, and he was one of the few that it developed into pneumonia, and by the time they could get it under control, I mean, they didn't, and he was gone. So there are several. I'll point out, but we did give the provenance underneath to several pieces from his collection, and that's one. Something that I don't often get to do. One of the major consigners is David Mandel, and I spoke to David yesterday, and because people might know, he made a couple of really great purchases in the the Hollywood memorabilia sale. So he's got some great pieces in the sale, and he's given me liberty to point out what's from his collection and take it from there. So we also have more material from the Jim Lee collection. This is stuff that's never been on the market. We have material from the Alex Raymond family, never been on the market. I mean, this is stuff people would have killed for years ago. I mean, this stuff never hit the market. So you got that kind of stuff. And then you have a wide array of, like you say, middle and lower stuff. But, I honestly couldn't pick less than 40, really high-end pieces in this sale. So, it is what it is.
Very nice. And I knew Kevin not really well, but of course, I saw him at many different shows. He was regularly helped out with the Hero Initiative auction, and also at behind their booth a lot. And he was very well loved by a lot of other collectors and exhibitors. I mean, he was always around. I mean, a very helpful guy, just very outgoing, and he's definitely missed. He was all set to come to OAX as well. He was going to help us with a few things just as far as running the show, and he was going to help us with the auction, and he already had his room and everything. So it was a surprise to us as well.
Yeah, it's sad. So but now we kind of move on for the sake of his sister. And that's what we got to look at it. We're happy to be able to help.
Well, why don't we dive into some of the lots here and take a look at which pieces you've picked out?
Shoot.
All right, let me get the screen sized a little bit here. Of course, we're jumping into a John Romita Sr. Amazing Spider-Man cover.
This is a cover that Ed Jaster worked on securing for quite a long time. The owner for years kept saying that he was thinking about parting with this. What do we think? Is the time right? It's one of those deals where, so I honestly didn't think it would happen. And then out of the blue, he said, yeah, let's do it. So, I mean, outstanding cover, really great figure of Spider-Man. It's dramatic image of Peter, Harry, Captain Stacy. As far as I know, this is the only time where you had both Gwen and Mary Jane Watson facing forward, full figure like that on a cover, and then you have Peter in the middle as well. So, it's a dramatic cover. It's a great image. It's a large Spider-Man, look great on the wall. I love the fact that the logo has that contrast with the black against the white, and Spider-Man's head really makes it pop. It gives you that three-dimensionality. A really good Spider-Man cover hasn't been on the market now for a while. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it does.
Yeah, it's at 90 right now. And it's, I love covers like these. You just don't get covers. Modern covers aren't like this at all. They don't tell a story and set things up to make you want to pick it up and read what's inside. I mean, seriously, you read this book, you see the cover and you think that Peter's days are over, as in his role as Spider-Man, at least his secret identity. And of course, it's never quite like that, but the covers tell such a good story that it makes you want to pick it up just to find out
it was actually
really is true or not.
Yeah, a recurring theme in Spider-Man where, Spider-Man no more, that whole thing. And whether it be illness, whether it be personal circumstances, death, they always find a way around it, but the drama is always there. And it's really part of the whole, canon of Spider-Man, really. And especially in the early days. I mean, this is a sub 100 cover, or before issue 100. Those, they just don't show up. People don't let them go anymore.
Yeah. Hey, there's a question, and this might not be one that you can answer. Knights of Old was curious. What do you guys use to scan or photograph all the works? I mean, I assume it's scanned. It has to be, but
it's not. That's surprising. We have a dedicated camera room set up just for original art. We have a separate camera room set up for comic books. And it's a black room, not dissimilar to where I'm doing right here. But we have an overhead, high resolution camera and straight down. So because you have a black room and because you have just very subtle lighting, really wide, I know photographers will know what I'm talking about. There's no bounce and no reflection. So we can photograph things behind glass. We can photograph glossy paper. We can, it doesn't matter what it is. You could put a piece of glass over a cover that doesn't have a frame, and you can get perfect resolution. So all of our images are 300 DPI. We're often asked to, I just had a consignor today that's consigning, and he wants, high res scans in case of a book, and we tell him, take it from me, in the printing industry, everybody asks for higher res scans, but 300 DPI is the highest that they're going to print in anyway. Mm-hmm. So that's plenty for the purpose. And this, being in the business. Oh, yeah. The images are beautiful for what they do. And we try not to, as far as I know, it's not like it goes through Photoshop or anything else on an individual basis. It's the guy's there. He could see what he's doing. He shoots it, and that's it. And then he shoots the back. Or if it's, he'll do an inner and a cropped version and a full version.
Very, that's cool. I mean, I think that, I've always wondered that, because, you never can tell, how a company is going to handle it. But it's great you have a dedicated room just to do that. And it makes perfect sense to not get the glare on stuff that's under glass, because so often, I know when you initially see a thumbnail here, this could be framed, and under glass, but you don't see it until you actually read the description to know that. And I've always been wondered about that myself, how on earth you're getting those scans without taking the pieces out of the frames. But
yeah. Also, the matting will, if you're trying to scan a matted piece where the mat is fixed around and you don't want to remove it, mm-hmm. All of that adds to it. I mean, in fact, I just, in the move, I had all this professional camera equipment that I used to use when we did our own catalogs. And, I had a Hasselblad, the professional lights, the umbrellas, the bounce. And you had to set up. It was an ordeal to do that. And the same was true at when we were at Christie's and at the major auction houses. Heritage is amazing. They have a camera room for each department. Right next to the comics is posters, and they've got their own, so that they have a big vacuum board. They could put a giant piece right up against the wall, and the vacuum will suck it back, and you get it perfectly flat. The same type of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have to have a lot of different technicians over at Heritage to get these things, keep these things running properly.
Listen, Jim's probably on, so I would say this anyway, that, that's Halpert. He doesn't, when it comes to anything that could make the experience better for the collector, or, define it, he's always looking to hire. It's never the other way around, ever.
Right. He's probably too tired after. If he was at that show all weekend, I bet he's taking a break. He might watch this tomorrow, though. Well, this is a great piece. I'm glad you guys finally got it, and I'll be curious to see where this one ends up.
Yeah.
But we'll keep in with Spidey here. We have a Ditko page from issue 29.
Yeah. Now this is a piece from the Mandel collection. So David handpicked some pieces. He's looking to raise the money for that buy. So, he picked out some great pieces. Here's Spider-Man in action in every panel, Scorpion, second appearance. It's after Ditko switched to from pen to brush. So you beautiful lyrical action in the thing, really classic Ditko. There's nothing not to like in this page, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, this is really, really nice. Well, just another reason to envy the collection that Mandel was able to put together. It's wonderful, because a lot of these pieces, they never made it to CAF. If you were fortunate enough to go visit Dave, and I never was, a lot of people got to see some of the pieces that were out there. But yeah, this is great. So this is not the last piece that we're going to see.
No, he's got a couple for you. A couple of X-Men pages, I think.
Yeah, I had a feeling that a couple of these were his. but yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I know he was a big fan of John Byrne, so I know we're going to see a few of those in here.
Yeah.
Here we have a Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns one page, just
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. And, this is really, those are really becoming tough. They don't really come out much. This page is really nice because it's the retelling of the origin of Batman. It's the scene where his parents and the necklace, which becomes such a prominent icon within the series, is featured. Obviously, Miller is. I mean, look at the work he did with that. That shot through the fencing, and he was looking to do something different every panel, every page, and he's really breaking a lot of barriers at that point.
Yeah, I really like this page. Miller had an interesting graphic sensibility about his work. Whether he was drawing a prison scene with a lot of bars and shadows and those sorts of things, or using fences and the city silhouette and those, as in this case. I just think people have kind of been knocking his drawing skills on Facebook the last few days, and it's just kind of crazy because he is such a he's very interested in how he tells a story, not just in his writing, but in the way he does it visually, and he can draw.
Yeah, I mean, if you were lucky enough to see some of his early pencils and his pencils on Daredevil, the early stuff was super tight. He was as capable. I mean, look at John Byrne. He went from having super tight pencils to super loose pencils back. To say that he can't draw it, no, he's choosing to express himself in a different way, and that's exactly what happened with Miller. I mean, here he's trying to express anguish. He's showing Bruce's mother. He's telling the story, and like you say, the problem with people that spend a lot of time on composition, which is very difficult, maybe the most difficult thing, to decide how you're going to lay out and where you're going to begin before you even begin drawing. You notice those are the guys that have a hard time keeping up, keeping on schedule, because that part of it takes a lot. The Sterenkos of the world is the easiest one to point to. So Miller found a really good partner in Klaus, and he was able to start finishing the pencils once Miller did the breakdowns, and that was a key part of it all.
Oh, this is a good one. So what do we have? We're at 36,000 on this one so far.
Yeah, that's reasonable for a Dark Knight page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Frazetta, is this the only Frazetta in the auction? I'm trying to remember.
Of all Frazettas, I don't know. It's the only Frazetta oil.
Okay.
Yeah, this is another sad story. A friend, a collector, Ray Skursky, who was always present in San Diego and at the California conventions, and he bought from Nadia and I a couple of Frazettas, a couple of pulp paintings, some really high-end stuff. And then one day he called me up, several years ago, and he said that he has a home in Florida. He was away, and his home was broken into, and a bunch of his best stuff was stolen. So that's the last I heard of it. After we put together a page, we did everything we could on our end. We put out an email, and Ray got a sudden. He had a stroke and he passed away suddenly. And his brother goes into one of the storage centers, and apparently Ray had tracked down the material and gotten it back. And I wasn't aware of it. So this is one of the pieces from his collection.
Well, it's gorgeous as only Frank can do it, right? I mean,
yeah. Again, one thing that you might notice, a bunch of Frank's pieces are on a cliff, on a on the top of a mountain. He's always looking to get the drama. And talk about composition. He always began his work with an idea in mind. I mean, who starts a work with that dark spot right at the end of the rock? You know what I mean? And then has the guy looking back. I mean, that's all planned. He draws a shape and then he fills it in, basically. I mean, this is a Western motif. It's got a classic for, Frazetta used to often brag he was on a horse once in his life, never been around horses, and yet he knew the first time he tried, he could draw a horse, and he had the ability to look at that gait. You know exactly what's going on. It's not the way a typical person draws a horse. There's no stiffness, and you got the Frazetta colors. In my opinion, this is going to be a really good opportunity to get a Frazetta oil at a reasonable price, because it's not one of his big, it's not Burroughs, it's not Babes, it's not Barbarians, and it is what it is. I'd be happy to have it.
Yeah, of course. Well, this is and this was one of those ones that was also framed, right? I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a good example. Try and scan that. You can't. Try and photograph it in a typical manner. The oil paint, you get the glare. Removing it from the frame, you could cause damage, and yet our guy's able to get a perfect shot. So, yeah, it's impressive.
All right, and here's a classic Marvel cover for you.
Yeah,
already at 155. So Perez and Marcos.
This interesting. Todd was telling me that the person who had this for a long time. I don't think it's ever been on the market. I don't ever remember it being on the market, but this cover was on a lot of people's want lists, for a very long time, and it was never available. And you and I have talked about Perez. He went from being underrated to now, he's one of the premier guys in an auction, one of the highlights. So here's an Avengers cover, and they're fighting basically Ant-Man, and there's a million ants. You got Captain America, Black Panther, Wonder Woman, the Vision, right, and Scarlet Witch all being attacked by Ant-Man and the ants. And the cover, I mean, it's at a huge price right now, isn't it?
Yeah, 155.
I mean, 155 at this point in the sale. That's impressive.
Yeah, I remember there was one collector in particular who always wanted this cover. But you're right. I mean, it's one of those ones that there were several people that wanted to have this in their collection. So that's cool. I'll be curious to see where this one winds up.
It must be, because one person does not make a price of 150,000.
No. What year was this? Oh, 77.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have that one in my watch list to see where it ends up.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Now, here we go. Here's a John Byrne X-Men 137 page. Not too shabby.
That's another David page. Go ahead. You like to talk about these. Go ahead.
I know. Well, I mean, this is a story that everybody who enjoys John Byrne artwork want to have a page from. Doesn't matter which one. I mean, from it's a double-sized book, and not one page was a stinker in it. Right, every single one of them were great, and anything in the last third where the fight scenes were going on are highly desirable. And and here you have one where the battle's already started, and everybody knows where it's going to end up. But I, as soon as I saw this one, if I could own any of the Byrne X-Men pages, maybe in the last several signature auctions, I'd take this one.
Wow. Okay, that's saying a lot. Yeah, and I mean, it's got the all new X-Men team. It's got Cyclops, it's got Angel, Wolverine, Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler. Jean, Marvel Girl, Phoenix, as well as the Beast, and
Hmm.
it also has a lot of other people. So yeah, a lot going on in this page. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have like any of you could have a couple extra villains in it or something, but at the end of the day, no, this is a great page. I would, I mean, that first panel is just awesome
Yeah.
with Gene and Scott in it. So yeah. Hey, there's better pages all around, but if you want to get it from a particular story, I see Joe K said there's a better page from number 130. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about what you want. If you're buying it for the art, if you're buying it for the storyline, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into picking a page that you'd really want. I mean, heck, there's another page in this one. I always wanted a page from the first Dazzler book. There's one here. So to me it's like there's two, and they're both, for me it's story based. I mean, I love all the art from this period, and I could pick several John Byrne X-Men pages, whether it's from the Phoenix storyline or other, but those are two issues that I would, if I could, and I should have 20 years ago bought at least one example from either one, because I'll never own one from either one of these now. But yeah, this is a great page. And anytime you get 4 or more X-Men in a panel, that's the things that most collectors really want. From Byrne era stuff, is just a group shot of the team.
Yeah, and that bottom panel is very nice. It's stark. It's very visible from across the room. I mean, it's a very nice display page as well. No doubt about it.
Oh yeah, and everybody knows what the next panel is. It's the little guy jumping on the top of his back, zapping Beast. I mean, it's that's who didn't read this story over and over again back in the day, if you're a fan of the X-Men.
Yeah, I mean, this is I think this was 1980, right? So Nadia and I owned a comic book store at that point, and the when before this book came out, the amount of hype. I mean, X-Men was everything in the comic industry, and it was all building to the climax with that, and it was going to be a double, a thick book. And the climax. So that I can't even imagine. I don't know the circulation numbers, but it had to be huge. I mean, every single store ordered hundreds of extra copies, and they just sold like anything. Yeah, no hesitation. So it's a piece of history. No doubt about it.
Definitely. So here we got a Byrne FF cover now. Kind of later in his run with that book, but just awesome. I mean, these are the things that made the Byrne's run on FF so memorable. Was just the storylines, and he tackled every major villain that he wanted, and every major Marvel character that he could throw in there. I mean, he knew it would make a really great run on FF stories. And so yeah, I mean, I look back at that, his run on Fantastic Four, incredibly fondly. I've read those books to death too, just because he knew how to tell a great story. And here's a cover where I mean, the villain's oversized, but it's still just so well done with the Human Torch. And
there are only so many of them, and one of the things that Byrne really, like you said, he liked to revisit all of the interesting villains of the past, and people that he could take in a different direction. He didn't necessarily have to come up with somebody new to get his creative juices going. So the Psycho Man with the Invisible Girl and Mr. Fantastic and the Human Torch, the emotion controlling villain. This was a great storyline. They just don't turn up. That's the thing.
No, they don't. So where are we at with this one? This is at 43.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable, I think, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what was the X-Men page at?
65.
So a Byrne FF cover is at 43, and an interior X-Men page is at 65, without the BP, right?
Correct. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Chuck says a lot of Ordway on that cover. Well, Ordway, I thought he did a good job inking. He was, wasn't Terry Austin, but I thought he did a decent job inking over John's stuff. But yeah, I'm not even going to hazard guesses anymore. I was so wrong on so many pieces last time we did this. Yeah, but the X-Men page is better. Well, of course the X-Men page is better. Me and Marcus, I mean, to me, I mean, as an X-Men fan, I would pick that an X-Men page over any Byrne FF cover or interior. And as much as I like, all of them, I'd still want a X-Men page over that. Let's see here. So we got an Irv Novick. That's right. This is the complete 13-page story. I forgot about that.
Yeah, another theme in this story is that the Irv Novick family has been consigning over the last couple of sales, and that gives us the opportunity to offer first of all, obviously never been on the market, but secondly, you could get a complete book or a complete story. So his run on Batman with Giordano inking is just, classic. So here you have a 13-page story, and there are several pieces that are there, and they are identified as the Irv Novick family collection. So if you do a search, I think this sale, there was 15 or 16 in the sale. Mm-hmm. Lots. So significant amount of stuff covering, a gamut of material. This one features both Batman and Man-Bat. Great splash page. Giordano inking really gave it that Neil Adams feel, which I always thought was interesting.
Well, this one's still very affordable at $3,500 for 13 pages.
Yeah, there's an opportunity. Yeah.
All right, let's see. Oh, see, I never read DC, but I know this cover.
So, yeah,
this is great. I really, really like this one.
Yeah, I believe this is from this may be from Kevin as well. But classic Adams, Giordano, Solomon Grundy cover. You got Silver Age Flash, Green Lantern, Hawkman, Golden Age Flash, all sorts of stuff going on where Solomon Grundy is fighting against the combined forces of the JLA and the JSA. Just a classic image.
Oh, 92. Yeah. No, so it is very nice. So this is that one's at 21 right now. But yeah, this is great though. Giordano inks, and this is from 71. So
yeah.
50.
And Adams cover 71, Justice League, and because it's DC, it's still modestly priced, in my opinion. I mean, look, beautiful work.
Mm-hmm. Let's okay, another we got a Murphy Anderson cover. This one's nice.
Again, Kevin was a big. I think his favorite character might have been Hawkman. He often dressed as Hawkman at conventions. Mm-hmm. So, he really, when we got the Murphy Anderson collection, he was really going crazy over this cover. So this has got a double provenance. It originally came from the Murphy Anderson collection, and then it went to Kevin, and here it is. But double size art, a great image. It's kind of the hawks are caged type of thing, the birds in the gilded cage. So beautiful. Yeah. Really, really nice.
Yeah, it's funny, as many times I got to chat with Kevin, I never talked to him about art collecting. I would have liked to.
Because you were a Marvel guy.
That's probably what it was. He knew not to talk to me about stuff, but yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I never, I never knew a lot of the stuff that Kevin had, but wow, I had a good eye, that's for sure. And I remember when the Anderson stuff was dropping, was being auctioned by Heritage. Those were always kind of fun just to see what pieces were coming out from those when that was happening.
Yeah, Nadia and I handled that. That was fantastic. I mean, Murphy had some eye. I mean, he was a collector. He was a hardcore comic collector. He loved pulps. He loved comics, and that's why he kept his art. He didn't allow Julie to give away a lot of his art. He would take it before it could be taken away. So that's how it survived.
Well, nice. I mean, so he didn't sell at shows or anything?
Very few. I mean, I started dealing with Murphy back in the 80s. He was very difficult to deal with because he didn't want to sell. On a rare occasion, I might be able to trade him something, but that was very, very rare. When we started Christie's, he gave us to help us in our when we got it going, he gave us a few pieces, and those were the first time anything like that ever came out. And then he just stopped. He had he really didn't need the money. He had a very successful pre-press business. Murphy was the guy. He did Public Service Magazine for the government, and he had a contract for that for many years. And then he also he was the guy that did the pre-press. So he was the guy that suggested that the art go from double size to undersized, because you could put more pieces on a standard negative and it could reduce the cost of printing significantly. And that's when the change occurred around 1968, I believe. Yeah.
So we owe it to Murphy.
Yeah, I mean that's what I used to bug him all the time. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So all right, well, another piece out of Kevin's collection. So it's nice to have back.
And what's that at? I'll bet that's pretty reasonable at this point.
Now this was one of the covers, right, from the
this is the cover of the not the platinum but the regular comic art sale, the floor session. Animal Man #1, Brian Boland, still very hot. Animal Man had been part of the DC universe for decades before Grant Morrison revitalized them. And he did that fourth series, and it lasted 88 issues. It was created, people might not know, by Dave Wood and Carmine Infantino. First appeared in Strange Adventures in 1965. Adopted the name of Animal Man a few issues later, and how many #1 covers do you get from 1988?
Right. Yeah, not many. I mean, I've seen a few other. All the Animal Man covers are really nice by Brian, of course, but this is a pretty beautiful piece. I mean, you look at it; it's just so much more detail than he probably needed to do. But it's how Brian works, right? Or at least he used to work. So this is very, very, very nice.
Yeah.
And a big fan of Brian's, Matt Moore, agrees.
And to add the three-dimensionality, he's got the tiger coming up forward. He's got the Animal Man thrusting forward. He's got some in the back. It really makes for a nice, beautiful composition.
Yeah, well, he's done the animals in kind of almost an etching kind of a approach to the way he's drawn them. And Animal Man is more of his traditional comic inking style. So it's kind of fun to kind of bounce your eye back and forth between the way he decided to render, the figure versus the animals there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, this is a nice piece. I mean, it is what it is. It's one of those things that I don't tend to talk as much about, something, because it just stands. I mean, you don't need to have this explained.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Here's another question from Knights of Old about Kevin. Let's see, where was that? If Kevin had the first Tarzan all-story pulp painting by Clinton Petty. I'm not familiar with that artwork.
No, I never heard that. I mean, as far as I'm aware, that is still in the collection of the Edgar Rice Burroughs estate. I actually went there back in the day when Edgar Rice Burroughs' grandson, Danton Burroughs, was living and running the estate, and he invited me over. And I walk into these offices, and all along the wall is every early pulp cover from the early Tarzan pulps, including, I believe, what is N.C. Wyeth, and literally 10 Frazettas, all around the room.
Very nice. I got to see a lot of the Korshak collection. Yeah, people familiar with that. I mean, and I'd seen Wyeth's before, but I'd never seen like a 5 foot by 2.5 foot Wyeth painting before in person. It was kind of surprising. It just wasn't what I expected. With the what I expect to get from Wyeth in his career. I mean, it was just so cool to see some pieces that I would never have thought he would have done. But yeah, very, very cool. Oh, yeah, I think you muted your mic.
Doesn't he have the first appearance of what is it, John Quartermain? I think he has the Wyeth pulp.
It was cover. He has one of the. It was the painting that he has on the wall. It was from Quartermain. But no, I think it was,
the character on the cover is not Quartermain. That's
no. It's like a warrior kind of. Yeah. But again, I mean, it just blew me away. I mean, when I first saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, not something I'm used to seeing. But that was pretty cool. I got to, and so we've got. I think we're gonna have like 25 or so pieces from the collection at OAX. We have a gallery just set up for that. So he's got beautiful Hildebrandt, and Frazetta will be there. Some really nice early sci-fi, imaginative realism pieces. But back to the Balin. Of course, I think there's so many of these covers that were just so memorable. So this is cool that you guys have this as the first one, and deserving to be the cover to that to one of the 3 catalogs.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, and now we have, this is the page I mentioned earlier. Yeah, from 130. I mean, it doesn't matter that Dazzler's tiny, and you don't get the full figure on that right there. I mean, this is an awesome page from, again, another super memorable issue. And
this is the first appearance of Dazzler, right? And this is, I think, the second page she appears on. So again, it's the historic versus the in-your-face image. Yeah, I think she was two pages prior to this, and you got Scott and Jean watching the musical light show, Nightcrawler, Hellfire, Outside of the Disco.
Yeah, this is I love this page. Well,
yeah,
I can at least appreciate getting to see them here.
And the story behind Dazzler is almost as dazzling as the book. You did the interview. Didn't you interview Jim Shooter?
Yes. Yeah, I did.
And he talked. Didn't he talk about this? I think he talked about the.
I think in the first interview we did talk about it, and for whatever reason, it's escaping me what he told me. I hate to say it.
If I'm not mistaken, Dazzler, I mean, they were approached by a major studio to do a tie-in, and it was going to be, a movie, and it was going to be all sorts of tie-ins. So they had to really hurry to put together a character, and they came up with the Dazzler, and he's got all of the details behind it. It was, unfortunately, the project fell through in the end on their end, but the comic book character remained.
Yeah, that's well, good for that. I mean, but there were other there's always like an emergency or two, or a necessity or two that pops up that it has ended up creating, characters, and especially in the Marvel universe for sure. I mean, like
Yeah,
She-Hulk getting created for, the reasons that happened and whatnot. So, but at the end of the day, it gives us characters that have stuck. So,
absolutely.
yeah. But yeah, this one, I mean, the cover on in this issue, fantastic. I mean, just so many. Yeah, I go back to this era from Byrne X-Men, and there's what's not to like.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So, switching gears to 63 on here, you got a Kirby Avengers 2 page.
Hey, when you have an Avengers 2 page, you can't just overlook it. I know that a lot of the guys on the list would like me to dwell on some of the more, modern bronze and silver, but Jack Kirby is still Jack Kirby, period. And
Yeah,
you got
like
Giant Man, you got Iron Man, you got the Hulk, you got Wasp, you got the villain. A lot of really good stuff going on in this page. Avengers #2. I mean, come on, Marvel history. Probably most. I mean, I don't know, Spider-Man or the Avengers. Certainly, I think the Avengers is the most successful franchise right now with Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, well, well, it's tough to say, right? Spider-Man just they keep making these good movies and things. But I like, and here you got Iron Man with his roller skates on, and I love this panel here. I mean, look at how the few brushstrokes were needed to render the Hulk here.
Yeah.
But it works. It's perfect.
Well, and you have the classic Kirby technique of the character looking back at the panel. He's facing away, but he's looking back. That the character down at the bottom, really look at the three-dimensionality of that bottom panel. It's really well done. I mean, and this was at Marvel at the very beginning of the superheroes coming back. So, yeah.
Knights of Old had a follow-up question for you on that one. When he says, did the Paul painting might have been lost with the others in the estate fire?
I don't know. That did occur. They did have a fire, but I do believe that burned more of the books and the extra manuscripts and the stuff that they had in the warehouse. The art, the significant art they had in the front office, and that wasn't affected.
Well, that's what we want to hear.
Yeah. No.
So we have another Spidey cover here by this time by Mark Bagley, and this one's at 25K already. You once again, have Scorpion and Black Cat in here. Not bad.
Yeah. Really nice counter position to the Spider-Man 29 page. The difference in Spider-Man and the Scorpion, and just in the way everybody's rendered, it's just so modern. Bagley had a great sense of design and his ability to set the black and the white and every. I mean, it's really a good cover. I like this cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think Bagley, when he began on this on Spider-Man around issue 251, probably. Yep. And so yeah, by here he hit his stride.
No, it's pretty nice. It's 25K right now, but yeah, no, it's a great cover. I always like Bagley's stuff. I mean, I was never a big Spider-Man fan, but Bagley. He could really draw good action scenes. I love. I've actually owned a couple of his like Thunderbolts pages because I just love the way he. They're totally like $100 pages, but they're awesome because Bagley knows how to draw a good fight scene.
Yeah. No, he was good. I mean, they had a long succession of successful artists. Between Spider-Man and the X-Men, every one of those guys became super successful, and I mean they just rose to the task.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now we've got a Daredevil cover by
Yeah.
Cole.
This one surprised me. It a lot of this was high on the watch list, tracking, but not price wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying to myself, a Gene Cole again. I think 3 sales in a row. We've had, a really nice Gene Cole and Daredevil, and it might have been a great splash last time, a cover the time before that, and they don't generate the excitement that they should. Really, I mean, Colin. This was Colin at his best on Daredevil. I mean, come on. This is the first appearance, I think, of the Jester, isn't it? Yeah, and it's the cover, so it is the very first appearance. Classic Colin, really nicely inked by Dan Atkins as well. And this is from David's collection. So, David's got great eye.
Well, he definitely had a thing with Daredevil. I mean, I know he had a lot. Has a lot of Miller Daredevil, but
yeah,
I know he really likes the character. But yeah, that's a great piece.
Yeah. What's it at now?
18 and a half.
I mean, come on, people. That's a great piece to put on the wall.
Well, I'm sure it's not going to stay there. We got another Neil Adams cover here. Oh, this is pretty slick with Enemy Ace in there, front and center.
Yeah, I mean, this is an homage of Neil Adams to Joe Kubert.
Mm-hmm.
He did a great job, with Enemy Ace there, and he did it in the style of Joe Kubert. I mean, he mimicked his inking style. The whole bottom of this looks like Joe Kubert, period. Mm-hmm. And great Batman swooping out of the plane, the great, biplane shots, beautiful cover, really nice. And by the way, I think, the final panel of the story notes this was a tribute to the great Joe Kubert and Robert Kanigher, the co-creators of Enemy Ace, who began in our Army at War 155 in February of 1965. So it's he even noted it inside the book.
Wow. No, this is a really wonderful cover.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for my Joe Kubert page. Haven't quite figured out which one it's going to be. I still want a Hawkman page as much as
there's a great one for you coming up from Kevin. Yeah, I think from issue, if I'm not mistaken, Brave and the Bold 35 or 34. Outstanding page. Yeah.
All right, now over to Jim Lee and Gen 13, the centerfold. This is from 1994. This thing is huge.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to really have to zoom in. Look at the amount of stuff going on in this cover, in this splash. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's everything you want in the 90s. For a 90s piece of artwork, you've got
including the giant gun,
Right, you got the gun, you've got plenty of beers, and like somebody's chewing bubble gum. Obviously, you got to have that.
Voluptuous females.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, this is and so how many panels is this? Is it four panels? I mean, that thing is tall. But what's the size on this thing?
Pin-up poster art.
It's 10 by 22 and a half. But still.
Yeah, so it's 2 pages, one on top of the other.
Yeah.
Now this is from the first issue of Gen 13. This is issue number 1. So it's again from issue 1. Jim, this comes from Jim Lee's collection. And Jim worked on the cover, but also the interiors of the book were done by J. Scott Campbell. Mm-hmm. Jim only did the cover and this double-page pinup / poster because he wanted this was going to be a promotional piece that was going to appear in the comic store. So this came out as a poster. It came out later, I think, on Wizard Magazine. So this was all over the place when they were launching Gen 13. And do I need to go over Gen 13? A group of teens, or it sounds a little familiar. A group of teens invited to take part in a government project. It's a prison-like testing ground on Gen active teens. The teens make their escape, but not before they find out that they've got superhuman powers. So it's pretty cool. We've got about a dozen Jim Lee lots in the sale from his collection again. So again, another opportunity. I don't know how long that's going to last, if it's going to go beyond now anyway. But it's amazing that Jim has let some stuff go.
Yeah, well, you can't take it with you. I think that's kind of the thing a lot of us need to think about at some point in time in our collecting careers, right? You can't keep everything, and sometimes it's better to let a few pieces go here or there. I've got a few friends who probably have way too much artwork that should probably start thinking about those things as well. But so we have a really nice Crisis cover here by is it a cover? Oh, it's an index. Okay, it's an index cover.
Right.
By Mr. Perez, of course. This is great.
And again, Kevin Brogan collection.
Man. Yeah, Kevin had a good eye.
Yeah, and he was Mr. DC. I mean, this he also understood, this, Crisis literally changed the face of DC Comics for 2 decades. Written by Marv Wolfman, art by George Perez. I believe we counted 33 characters on this cover. I mean, George Perez, he must have been bored. I feel like he must have drawn this while he was, having breakfast. I mean, I can't understand how fast he must have been.
Yeah. Well, there'll never be another guy like George. The amount of detail, time, and just friendly personality. Like you'll never meet in another person like he was. He was one of a kind.
Yeah. As busy as busy as he must have been, he always had time for anyone. That was the amazing part of George Perez.
Yeah, that is so very true.
Yeah.
So let's see, what do we got next? Now we have so we got a lot of DC that we're looking at tonight too. So this is Sikowski, and this is
again Kevin Brogan, but I mean these are all very, very significant pieces. This is the splash, the Sikowski splash from Justice League 29. I love this piece. This piece is on one row. This is where you have the JLA. The whole thing with the multiverse that has come to dominate all these movies and the series and everything else all began back here. Obviously Flash, 123, when the Flash of Two Worlds is where it kind of began, but then until they really started to refine it with like the multiverse here. So you've got the JLA, you got the JSA, and yet in another dimension you had the evil Justice League, who was so dominant in this world that they decided that when they found out about the multiverse, that they were going to go into Earth One and attack the Justice League and the Justice Society. So this is page 1 of that historic book that has everybody on it, in these tiers. It's what a great display piece.
Crisis on Earth 3.
Yeah. So you've got the Flash, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Green Lantern. You got the JSA, Hawkman, Black Canary, Dr. Fate, Dr. Midnight, Starman. You got the Crime Syndicate of America with Superwoman, Owlman. These are, other versions of the JLA. 15 super beings from 3 different Earths. It's just a great piece.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. And what year was this?
64,
64. Okay.
and it's oversized,
Not bad. And here was another example, matted. So it was
Yeah.
matted with so they had a stat made for the indicia there. It's still, that's nice. That's really nice. I like it.
Yeah. Speaking of matting, not that I want to be petty, but since we're talking about Albert, I will go ahead.
Speaking of, okay. Why don't we? He's not here.
Yeah. So I watched the review, and he said, I don't understand why Joe didn't separate that Jungle Jim from the Flash Gordon.
Right. I remember that.
And your answer was, Joe said something about that, but I don't really remember what it was. But there might have been, no, there's no reason. They should have separated. Because Al Williamson, that was glued,
Wasn't it on another
professionally
board?
matted on one board.
Yeah,
And it was
that's right.
matted and everything. And the family wanted to keep it that way. So, when a consignor says keep it that way, that's what we do. We can't. It's not our choice. And
Albert can separate him if he wants. If he wants
exactly. Yeah, he didn't even buy it. So you know what? Be quiet. If you're not gonna watch the preview and learn something,
Yeah, he's not watching this at all.
Yeah. No.
I actually haven't lined up the the recap. I was thinking about that today. I'll have to email Albert and see if we can get him in on the next one and see what he comes up with for that.
Yeah, he was funny because it was like, yeah, I didn't get this either. No, I didn't get that either. I thought it went cheap, but I didn't get it because I'm already in debt. I'm not spending any money. I didn't get that one either. I've been on that one. I thought that was anything you didn't get must have gone cheap. This was a new tact. I don't know, but
hey, he's as he matures as a collector, things change. You never know. I'll be sure to ask him some questions, about well, we'll see, but hopefully he'll do it again. He always does enjoy coming on camera with us and hanging out. So
yeah,
we'll
we kid the Albert, but, we kid the Albert.
Oh, I enjoy any time on camera that I get to do with Albert. I mean, he always, the thing is he knows his stuff too. He always has something insightful to
listen,
say.
Albert from the beginning. The thing I liked about Albert, he used to come by my house. I think we talked, and he would absorb. If he saw a Flash Gordon and liked it, that's it. He learned about it and he wanted a Flash Gordon. It wasn't that he was only buying what he, read or anything else. He had a great ability to appreciate and an eye for art. And he could see this is great. Why would you not want it? So whether it was Flash Gordon or a great Tarzan or Frazetta or on and on and on, he just kept expanding his collecting interests. So yeah, and exactly what you said. So he started leveraging some of the stuff he did have for other stuff, and luckily was able to keep a nice amount of stuff for himself. Yeah, speaking of Flash Gordon.
Yeah, that's I mean, there's so little going on here, but boy, I love this the middle panel set there. That's really nice.
Yeah, this is very typical of 1940. He got away from the dry brush, and he's using a much more fine line technique. And you see those rays in every panel. You'd have that kind of thing, and that was very prevalent throughout all of 1940. And that Raymond went on from there, and as you'll see later in 1946. That became the style for Rip Kirby. So and he was so influential among other artists. So again, this is from the Raymond family, never been on the market before. Years ago, people would have killed for an opportunity to get a new to the market Flash Gordon, with a matching Jungle Jim. It's a matching Jungle Jim, Albert.
They're staying together. But yeah, so this, what is it? 13,300. So yeah, no, that's really, really nice.
Yeah. Sexy Dale, Flash, Zarkov, all featured in the page.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really fun there too.
Hmm.
Man. Let's see here. So what do we got next?
Also from the Raymond family, I thought I'd actually a different part of the Raymond family. So 2 Rip Kirby dailies, very historic. The number 20 and 21 from the first month of the strip. Consecutive. They're in 2 separate lots, but there's this one. This guy actually gets shot and dies. So there's the big crime committed. So you've got great shot of Rip. You've got unheard of death in the comic strips, and it continues from there. Alex Raymond, very, very illustrative. I mean, this became the style for illustrators all from that period on through the 50s.
Yeah, I like this one. So does CW mentions that they like it too. Yeah, no, that's great. What is it? What's it? So it's only at 825. So what year was this?
1946.
Wow.
Yeah. And go to the next lot, and you'll see this is the next one in the sequence. And here, boom, guy dies, and Rip, comes upon the body. Classic detective genre, film noir kind of, story.
Yeah, very nicely done. I love Raymond's signature there too.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and he had to throw the last Byrne page from 143 in here too, right?
Yeah.
Another great story.
And what else is it? Go ahead, Bill. It's the last page from 143, but what else is it?
The last story from Byrne. I mean, it's
exactly. Yeah,
the Kitty solo story. It's like what a weird after all the work that he did with Claremont and and just mega story, storylines and things like that, and then he ends on a Christmas story about Kitty, as his final book there. I mean, I'll be honest, as a reader, and so this, what year was this? This is 81. So 13-year-old me was disappointed that Byrne left at that moment, because I was enjoying his stuff so much, and it was like, damn, I mean, where's he going to go? What's he going to do? I mean, because but I didn't realize that Claremont was really going to be able to carry the book for issues and issues and issues and issues beyond that. And I could live without Byrne, but boy, I'll tell you, 13-year-old me was really upset.
Oh yeah, I mean it was really earth-shattering news at the time, but then people really, I thought they did a great job with, was it Paul Smith followed? Was Paul the one that immediately followed, or
that was Cockrum, right?
Well,
I think
McCloud,
there was a couple fillers, and then Cockrum had his run for about a year or whatever, and then it was Paul Smith.
Yeah,
but yeah, I was mad. I was as an X-Men reader, I was really unhappy that this was the final book. But you go back and look at it, and it was a really good story, and it was something that I mean, a lot of us 13-year-olds at the time, we were like, you could relate to Kitty Pryde. Just because they were young, they were your age, you're the one reading the book, and then introducing a kid with a group of adults, it just made for good storytelling. So it was, in a weird way, it was probably a fitting book for him to finish things up with.
I never talked to to Byrne, or I mean, I've had some good conversations with Chris, but I often wonder if they didn't consciously try, the X-Men started out as a group about kids, and then, they kind of became adults, and I think they were making an attempt to bring it back to, another level, just reset it almost, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah, but this was a good story. I mean, I look back at, yeah, I can just think of so many great panels. There was a lot of great art in this thing. But anyway, so another good page. This one's a 22.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to attract some interest before it's all said and done.
I
Now,
probably include more X-Men pages because of you than I would normally.
I appreciate that.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if I would have put that page on, but I said, but Bill will enjoy that.
I do.
And he gets he'll do the talking, so it's okay.
Gives you a break. So what we got here? One of the more memorable Daredevil covers from the Quesada Palmiotti run, right?
Absolutely.
You know, this thing was, you've seen this image in many different formats over the years, but you know, and during this period, but boy, this is like a cover for the ages, all the different textures in there, the inking styles. I mean, and then you get you know, such a brooding Daredevil in this piece. I mean, it's everything you'd want to represent that era of Quesada and Palmiotti working together on this book.
Absolutely. And you know, this is really you know, they took this whole thing for the Netflix series, you know, Hell's Kitchen. This is Hell's Kitchen. It's got the religious overtone, obviously, with the cross. It's got great, yeah, I mean, Jimmy did such a great job inking this page. I mean, must have taken forever. And you want to guess who owned that page? Mandel.
I can say it's got to be Mandel because it's not going to be Kevin.
Yeah, it's Mandel, and
it's a Daredevil thing again.
I went back and I was researching to say, I don't remember, you know, when we had one last. We've never offered a Quesada Daredevil cover. So,
well, they never come up.
That's what I was going to say. They must be rare, as far as I know, because you know we've never had one. And you know, I love Joe and Jimmy because you know, they're Queens kids like I was, and they're both very, very nice guys. I mean, really good guys.
Oh yeah. Well, Jimmy, you'll be at OAX, but you know, he had, when I did my interview with him, he had lots of good stories about this time frame. You know, and the freedom they gave both of them with the Marvel Knights storylines and just kind of plotting that, and it was almost like being kids again, getting to kind of, you know, just explore comics in a way that, you know, you really enjoyed and tackled you know, just the characters in ways that I think we all found refreshing. And so yeah, this is good. I mean, this is kind of when I had that period where I stopped reading books, and I kind of came in at the period when Marvel Knights were getting relaunched. So for me, yeah, this is a very memorable cover.
Yeah, this is beautiful. How much is it? And you don't have the logo obstructing it. You don't have the glue stains. It's really a flawless kind of, you know, art as well. Oh, by the way, we should have started off by telling people if we get, you know, knocked off the air, it's because of the, you know, Bill barely escaped in Florida, and now the weather is right over. I'm looking out the window here. It is just
everything's blowing sideways on you.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So,
well, yeah, that's true. For me, it was earlier today. I didn't think I was going to make it through the afternoon, but by about 7 o'clock, it finally died down here. But we had the power flickering, and my internet went down a couple times. But now, yeah, you're getting it. But yeah, no, this will make somebody very happy to add this piece to their collection, and hopefully it winds its way back to comic art fans, so we get to enjoy it all the time there.
Yeah.
But here you go. You got a Black Panther Kirby Royer DPS issue 1. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why everybody, you know, why Royer is felt to be, you know, Jack's best inker. You know, you look at a page like this, and this is full on Kirby. You know, if this was only penciled, it would look a lot like this as far as the shapes and the amount of detail in the backgrounds. And Royer doesn't leave anything out, and he doesn't really take too many liberties with Kirby's pencils here.
Now, and he had a thicker line. I mean, listen, Joe Sinnott, for the period that he did it, was absolutely, you know, immaculate, because that's the kind of line he had. But if you really it's odd to think that Joe Sinnott would be a great inker with Jack Kirby, because Joe, if you ever, I went up, I used to visit Joe, and he would draw it this close to the board, and, very fine line, and, absolute precision, where Kirby was a penciler that would slash with the side of a pencil. He's using the slash. I mean, they couldn't be more different stylistically. And Royer was able to get that same shine and that same, the energy blasts and the crackle and everything else that went into the to make everything look futuristic. It's incredible, and still maintain a Kirby really style. So, I always find this period of Marvel history interesting because, remember Kirby, this is what, 1977. So Kirby left Marvel, went to DC. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. He had a contract there. His contract was up, and Stan wanted to get him back in the worst way. And Jack literally wouldn't take his call. And then finally, somebody else interceded, and they got them together. And Jack would only agree to come back if he could work on the two characters that he co-created. He only, he was still pissed about not getting credit. So it was Captain America, obviously from the Golden Age and on, and Black Panther, which he was credited with coming up with. So that's why, Black Panther was appearing in Jungle Action, and all different artists were doing Jungle Action. Kirby never did the interiors. And then because Jack was coming back, I think there's a notation on this page that of maybe, is there a 25 or something on the page? Yeah, because it was supposed to be issue 25 of Jungle Action, and they changed it to Black Panther #1. And that's the story of Black Panther #1. So you've got a double page splash from a Marvel #1 issue of Jack Kirby's return to Marvel. And, he's really putting a ton into it. So great page, double page splash. I mean,
yeah, no, I love it. I absolutely love this piece.
Yeah. Okay.
Then McFarlane, you have to appease McSpidey fan a little bit too. So what's this, from 322?
Yep. Silver Sable in there. So yeah, it's a nice, prime time McFarlane Spidey page. The two of them take on some local goons, some really nice action. So it's just a good solid page. You got that great McFarlane distortion.
Yeah.
He gets that depth by adding, another limb. He'll put a hand is here, so that's one depth. Then he'll put, a shoulder is forward. Then he'll put the foot. Then he'll put, so it gives the appearance that the character is that long. You know what I mean? And in just one panel, and that was his thing.
Well, that's what I think fans of his work really gravitated to. He just had a way about him. I don't know. It took me a while. Well, because I kind of missed the whole McFarlane period. Again, it was right around 88, 89 when I stopped buying comics. So I missed out on a lot. Didn't get to pick these up when they were on the newsstands. But yeah, no, a decent page. 11.5 so far.
Yeah. No, it's going to do well.
Well, anytime Chris draws death, you always have to look, right? I mean, this is it's not like a hyper detailed piece by Chris, but it's got just what it needs in terms of detail and design here. This is a beautiful, beautiful illustration.
I mean, it's Sandman, as it's now been, I don't know how many auctions where Sandman is just blistering hot. Anything Gaiman is hot. And, to promote her second miniseries, DC had Bachalo create this image of death that that was the promotional piece that was seen all over the place and in comic stores. So, it doesn't come up that time. The piece was used on a promotional poster, a retail poster, a T-shirt from Graffiti Designs. So it's the original art to a lot of different licensed items, and it's beautifully rendered.
It
What am I
is.
gonna say?
And just curious. So, I'm sure it's taped down on a board. Looks like, is that what?
I don't know.
Huh. But gorgeous piece.
I mean, it could be. What does it say in the description? Does it say it's on paper, or is it just on a board and he just framed it that way?
Oh yeah, it's just, you're right. It's just on board. I when I saw that edge there, it looked like it might have been somehow,
Yeah.
but it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a very nice piece.
Yep. Oh, see, here you go. I mentioned Miller and his design sense here. I mean, look at with the bars here and just using the blacks and the shadows on this thing. This whole page is fantastic.
Yeah. So this is kind of a harbinger of like what would come later in the Dark Knight, right? I mean, that we had before. So is it surprising that this is also came from David's collection? Again, great eye, a beautiful page. It's Miller and Jansen. This is where Bullseye escapes from prison. Eventually, this is the storyline that leads to Elektra. He's in full film noir mode, dark and dramatic. Now, Daredevil's not even on the page, and yet it's such a great page. It's like an all Bullseye page.
No, yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, as much as I like the the fourth panel with Bullseye there, I mean, it's so well done, and I mean, no one drew the audible sounds into a page quite like Frank did. I just love these first three panels. They're just because of the bars. I mean, it's just fun the way he's broken up the page and added this crazy depth in there with them to tell the story. But wow. Yeah, I'd love to have this page, but where's it at? 62.5 right now, and deservedly so.
Well, I was shocked when I saw the price. I had to include it because I said, wait a minute, this is not only one of the most tracked items, but also one of the highest priced items. I mean, it's one of those things you can't ignore it. Hey, yeah, it is what it is. It's another one that it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great.
You put that up. I mean, look, even looking at it from here, it's so visually captivating. It draws you in.
Yep. Nope. I'm just going to be an admirer from afar, but yeah, I'd love to see this page in person. It'd be pretty interesting. And congrats to David for having the the stamina to let something like this one go. So, I mean, wherever it ends up, I mean, I'm sure, again, David's probably had this thing for 25 years or more. And yeah, whoever gets it, they're not going to let it go.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right. Because I remember going to see David in the 90s. So
yeah, you're not going to replace that one. So then we get another Kirby Royer Demon Splash here.
I mean, this is a great splash. The demon, he just jumps off the page. So classic. Demon. This is from issue 2, 1972. Royer inks. Beautiful. I mean, it's a great page.
Mm-hmm.
Great Jack Kirby in the lettering there. Yeah, bold.
Yeah, I like this page. Again, it's just if you're gonna get something and you want to like really experience Kirby, and Kirby pencils. I mean, look at that; it's just perfect.
Yeah.
It's how many Kirby pencil only pieces from different commissions or things he did at shows or whatnot. I mean, this is what Kirby pencils look like. So, yeah, this is slick.
Only he could get away with that. That torso, that crotch, those knees. And make it work.
Yeah, very true. Okay, we can't get away without having a good Art Adams page here. And so now we have this is from X-Men Annual 9.
Yeah. This was really early.
Yeah.
Adams, right? Yeah.
Very. I mean, everybody was still, I mean, this is, everybody's still trying to figure out Art Adams, but his stuff is so damn good. It's like, you really, you just didn't care, about what he was drawing, what storylines he was doing, just because it didn't matter. His art was so darn interesting.
Yeah.
And just stood out amongst other great illustrators that were out there at the time. And I mean, this is a really nice page. And there's a fair number of these pages around you, but not too many of them come up for sale too often. And this one's really, I mean, that first panel with all the characters in there. I mean, wow.
This was from the storyline where the X-Men and the New Mutants are stuck in Asgard, and Loki's trying to explain the terms of how they're going to be allowed to leave. But you have both teams visible. I mean, come on, it's a great page.
It is, definitely. And it's a 17 already. So, it's very desirable.
Yeah. Yeah. No, good page.
All right. We get a Barry Windsor Smith Weapon X page.
Yeah. Speaking of busy, and, here's Marvel, again from Marvel Comics Presents, when this is the final chapter of the Weapon X storyline that defined, Wolverine's origin. His style was perfect for, that whole adamantium bonding process there. Oh, I mean, look at that. Blah.
Yeah, really nice. And this is probably as the pages go. I mean, this might be one that somebody could add as their example, right? Because it's not going to be like it's going to be affordable, but it's classic Barry on this book, and you just had the Wolverine in the bottom panel there. Mikhail said he loves this page. I mean, I do too. It's really really nice. Good storytelling in it. I mean, Barry was just meant to do this storyline. He just gave this the whole run is all. Wow. Yeah, really nice piece. And this one's at 14.5 right now.
No, I think that's very reasonable. So I expect it to do a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great page. Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing that one. And you also have, Dr. Cornelius, Carol Hines, the professor. You have kind of the whole thing about the origin there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
and then we have 9 Sandman pages, I believe. I just picked out 1 or 2, if any. Not many Kelly Jones that I think we've featured before, so I thought I'd pick one of those. It's really a good page as well. Really film noir. This is from that sequence, if you watched the Netflix series where, the ageless immortal Hob Gadling made his first appearance, and then he continued to meet Morpheus for all those years, became probably the only friend that Morpheus ever had. They closed out the series with that, I guess, mini story as part of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is it's a great page, and like you said, you have 9 Sandman pages.
Yeah.
An embarrassment of riches. But
they used to be very tough. I mean, we got a nice collection, and they've been doing extremely well. So, I mean, there is another series where they just one great artist after the other working on it. I mean, really great job.
There's a 4-page sequence as well from Sandman in the auction. I think I must have missed that one when I was going through the sets earlier today.
Yeah. So,
So what do we got here? We have a Frank Miller Sin City PR promotional piece from '92.
Yeah, featuring Marv. Yeah, again, David Mandel. Great dramatic page.
Wow.
And early, you know, I mean, the first appearance was in April of 1991. This is in 1992. So, yeah, this was Miller's game-changing neo-noir crime comic. This was used as the gold, also used later as the gold embossed cover for Sin City, The Hard Goodbye, retailers only special format. So it's not only an illustration, it was later used as a cover and then a limited edition Dark Horse cover. So it's really a great piece.
Yeah,
if you're a Sin City fan, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
There's your piece.
Hey, Mikhail had a question for you. He was wondering if Gaiman is going to give you guys any Sandman art ever.
How do I address this? I think at this point, all I could say is stay tuned. I can say that we are doing something with Neil Gaiman, but I can't say what it is.
Well, there you go. We'll have to wait.
This did not come from him, but I can tell you that.
Okay. So what do we got here? We have a Giordano Joker cover.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if this came from Kevin's collection or not. It wouldn't surprise me if it did, but it's one of the better covers from the Joker series. This is issue 3, and it also has the Creeper, and it's Giordano. It's just Giordano doing the Joker as well as Batman is always great. Period.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time DC gave a villain their own title. Yeah. Out of the 9 issues in the run, Giordano only did the cover of 2 of them. The rest were done by Ernie Chan.
Well, it's a nice one. He picked up a few things from Neil here or there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I every time there's a finger pointing, I always think of Neil. I mean, that's like just classic from him. Anybody charging into battle or whatever, there was always that giant hand pointing at you. So, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, good cover.
And then we have
these don't come up much. A Kaluta Shadow. I mean, again, that's what Mike is known for, is his work on the Shadow. Again, a Brogan cover. 1973. The character suited Mike's style so well. I mean, he could really do an evocative dark scene, and I mean, this is a really good cover of the Shadow. I mean, this is issue 11.
Yeah, I mean, Kaluta, he was amazing during this period. I mean, this is gorgeous. This is 73. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, right. I mean, come on. You have Wrightson. Yeah, we don't discuss Kaluta as often as we do the other guys, with Wrightson and Barry Smith and Jones and even the Simonsons, if you want to throw them in there or whatever. But, Kaluta was, considered right up there. I mean, I love Mike. Talk about a nice guy. Mike is one of the all-time nice guys. Great guy.
Well, that's a good one. It's just under 10,000 right now.
Yeah. Really nice piece.
X-Men Classic. I used to own one of these X-Men Classic covers by Mike. And
really?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, I mean, these were so. I mean, when he did these, I don't know. It just made you think differently about Mike, because I liked his stuff before that, and then with the things that the shortcuts and things he was adding into his artistic style,
they just I really enjoyed it, and his treatment on all these covers, I thought all of them were fantastic. So this is a great one. Nice origin story you're getting in here, and P. Craig Russell inks on it too, which are really, really nice.
Mignola is a guy that is really, really admired by his fellow artists. Even though his style is so, eclectic, but the other artists really appreciate it. I mean, because again, it comes down to composition. It comes down to, you could tell that there was a lot of thought put into it before he sits down and draws it. So it's not necessary to do all the super detail.
Very, very true. So yeah, what's this one at 4,600? Yeah, I had the one that had like the Blob, all muscular and flexing, and like all the X-Men knocked out underneath them. So, but it was still just a really, really cool image, and I do wish I had it still. But yeah, no, this is nice.
I mean, he only did what, 13 covers? So.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here you got Professor X, you got Magneto, you got the Baron Strucker, the leader of Hydra. So you got a lot, you got a lot going for it. Yeah. Yes. And he's one of the guys that you need to have a representation of,
Yeah. I have a Rocket Raccoon page, so it's kind of close.
That takes care of it.
Period. Yeah, I'm happy with that. If that's the only Mignola Marvel reference I end up having in my collection, I'll be happy to keep that one. Let's see here, Liefeld. So you had Liefeld, New Mutants '98.
So. Yeah, I mean, I had to include it because it is from New Mutants '98, the first issue that Deadpool appears in. And this is also the first appearance of Gideon, because Deadpool is, first in this book. You don't usually hear about the fact that it's also the first Gideon, and Gideon's all over this. He's all over this page. That's what this page is about.
Yeah, no, this is pretty slick. So Liefeld, a 98 page from New Mutants. Very, very cool. So 91.
That was a good story that Albert told about that Captain America cover that we had in the last sale,
mm-hmm.
where Liefeld wanted to give it to him for free.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't take it.
Yeah, good old Albert. That's why we got to get Albert on more often, just to tell stories like that. Yeah, no, he's got a million of them. His time in the hobby, in the trenches, as it were. So what do we got here? An Adam Kubert cover.
Another X-Men, again, only because it's the X-Men. Kubert X-Men cover, early '82. From 1998. Nightcrawler, Storm, Colossus, Kitty Pryde, Wolverine, Rogue.
Yeah. Now, is this from Adam? Do you know, or is this?
I don't. You know what? I don't have it noted. So, and if it was, and he didn't give me permission to say anything, I'm not allowed to say. But
no, okay. I remember I talked with him. I did it. I did an interview with him last April, and I remembered him saying that he was thinking of testing the waters with doing some auctions on some of his older covers, because he owns he still has 80% of his artwork or somewhere around in there. So and I was like, oh, that's cool. I can't wait to see what he decides to pull out. So it wouldn't surprise me if this were or if it wasn't, but this was kind of the era of stuff I thought I'd see. But really, this is nice. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that attracted me to Adam's work. I mean, great composition in his character design, and I think this is awesome.
Yeah. Adam Kubert X-Men cover, again, another guy who took over and did a great job.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, really stylized, nice.
Oh, God, nice Fabry painted here from Preacher. Wow.
Look how many characters are in this thing. And we've got about what 4 or 5 preacher covers in this one as well. So, but this one was pretty like pretty impressive.
Yeah, this is
this has over 50 characters and featured, if not every character that had appeared in the series up until that point. Yeah, I don't know if we had everyone. We could figure it out, but nearly every single one, and include all the main characters. You know, Jesse Custer, Tulip, Cassidy, Saint of Killers, you know, etc. And the beloved Arseface is in the front.
yes, exactly. The immortal Arseface.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in this, but no, I mean this is what you want from Glenn, right? I mean, you want a painted preacher cover. This is great. What do we got? $4,700. Yeah, this is really nice.
$4,700 for a full rendered painting. I mean, people would have killed for these things years ago. It's yeah, it's a good example of where one collector kind of strangled the market, so people just didn't collect it because it was impossible to get a piece. And but now they're becoming available. You're going to see once these get absorbed into the market, the price will double or triple down the road, and everybody will go, "Oh man, I remember when they were coming out, and I could have bought one." And then you'll hear that endless lament. Well, you got to have a little foresight.
Let's see. Oh, that's right. The Milgram Spectacular Spider-Man cover. This is from '87, from issue 128.
Yeah.
Nice black costume, Spidey here.
Yeah, and again, this one, you know, more than likely never been on the market. You know, from a person who held it from the very beginning. So,
yeah, nice, and still affordable right now too.
Yeah, black costume Spidey. And you get a sneak peek of Black Cat's new costume, and Daredevil's got a cameo in that. So, and it's Milgram on Milgram. It's a nice cover. Yeah.
See, I this is what year is this? '87. I don't remember that costume, but hey, got the black Spidey costume there. And here's the piece you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having this in my collection. Yeah, I mean it's just gorgeous, man. I mean the way he's handled Hawk Girl here with that's amazing.
Yeah, you can really see the difference between Murphy Anderson and Joe Kubert. You know, I mean, this is dynamic, and Hawk. You know, I mean, Hawk Girl is really. Stylized. It's really a great splash. I mean, it's Joe Kubert. It's the second Silver Age appearance of the characters. We've only offered one other page ever from this book, and I don't think we are the ones that sold this page. So I don't know where Kevin got it from, but it's outstanding page.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, like we said more than once already, Kevin had a really good eye for great pieces. He didn't go for the average interior page. He's had a lot of nice covers and title pages here.
What's the pricing on this one?
It's at $7 right now. I mean,
you should sell an X-Men page and get 4 of these. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, well, the thing is, in a weird way, they're still kind of affordable. I mean, if you get an interior page, you might be able to get it for around anywhere between 10 and 12, a really nice page, I think. But I just haven't. I missed out on one on Dueling Dealers. I should have bought it before it ever came on there, because I forget what we had it priced at, like 7 or something like that. It was Mike, I think, and I was like, I'll see another one. but I regret that to this day that I could have picked one up, at a relatively affordable price. But and yes, even though it's DC, I've always wanted one. Insider claiming. That's why I never did it, Marcus. I actually did. I ever do it? I might have picked up 1 or 2 pieces over 3 years of the show, but usually I let the audience have first crack at it, and then I'd get it.
Yeah, so, fair is fair.
Yeah, if you pass it up, then it's mine. But here we've got. What was this from?
This is the Man of Steel 20 for the Funeral for a Friend cover. Yeah, very memorable cover. I mean, this was after the death of Superman. John Bogdanov, beautiful piece. Again, this came from his collection. He gave us several really good pieces. In the next one as well. Superman's killed by Doomsday, one of the most memorable, best-selling series of all time. The death of Superman was divided into 3 story arcs: Doomsday, Funeral for a Friend, and Reign of the Supermen. So this is from the Funeral for a Friend cover. After the death of Superman came, the Funeral of a Friend. You have Wonder Woman, Batman, Robin, Supergirl, and other members of Justice Society, of the Justice League and the Justice Society. So,
well, John was very, very wise to hold on to those pages for as long as he did.
Yeah.
So, what do we have? A Man of Steel 17 cover here.
Yeah,
John as well.
Yeah, again from his collection. So, really good. Superman battles the Underworlders. At this point, he's unaware that Doomsday is coming.
Yeah, no, it's I've always thought that him and Janky were both meant to work together. I love the inking style here. Just a beautiful piece.
Yeah. Again, look how many items in this auction are from collections that you never had a chance to get this stuff before.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff's never been on the market. I mean, this stuff came out in 1992. So we're now 32 years, later before we get a chance at something like this. It's really an amazing period of time. I mean, look how many creators we've talked about tonight. Mm-hmm. It's really amazing.
Well, now we're talking about somebody we haven't talked about yet, Trimpe, the Defender.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to include it. I was going to stop at 40 items, and then you get a Trimpe Defenders cover. So you gotta talk about it. Nighthawk, Hulk, Doctor Strange, Hellcat. It's a nice cover.
Mm-hmm. Valkyrie too. So not bad. What do we got? Oh, that's Rubenstein. So this is issue 70 from 79.
Yeah.
I would one day I'll have a Trimpe Hulk page. Those are you can still get those and not risk not being able to pay for your kids' college tuition.
Well, I mean, he was so hot and he's cooled down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Still a lot of demand, but not as crazy as it was.
Right.
But
there's enough out there, and you figure after a collector gets 1 or 2 examples in their collection, they don't need another one, right? So everything kind of ebbs and flows at that point.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I watched there's on YouTube somewhere. I don't know why these things pop up, but it popped up like a home movie of Trimpe, in Marvel offices drawing and him at his home and walking around and talking about his career. I had no idea that the first thing that he ever did with Marvel was Hulk in 1985. So that's unusual to be put on something like that so quickly. He had no experience whatsoever.
Well, I know he hung out with Marie Severin a lot.
Marie is pictured in the video along with I think Cooperberg and a couple of other people. So it's interesting to watch. Yeah.
I have not seen that. I'll have to see
Yeah.
if I can find it. That'd be interesting. So we have a Broderick Legion of Superheroes cover.
Yeah, I mean, this is this issue marks Keith Giffen's first work on the Legion, even though it's not on the cover. But this is what begins that whole Paul Levitz, Keith Giffen run. I remember this cover coming again. Had the comic store 82, so it's that same period of time where the Legion, from a DC point of view, is one of the only hot product titles at DC at that time. Marvel with the X-Men was obliterating everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DC was feeling a little underappreciated during that period, but no, it's a great cover. Romeo Tangal's inks on this too.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Colossus Boy, Starboy, and Monel. Yeah.
Then we have another Sin City DPS.
Yeah, double page splash.
Yeah, this is very memorable. 95, big fat kill.
Yeah.
So, doggone it, yeah.
Yeah, Dwight gets a little help from his friends. He's got all of his friends show up and bail him out.
So what do we got? This one's at 9,500. Not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. Frank Miller. Come on.
And then look, I mentioned Marie Severin. We get a Marie Severin piece here.
And to end the sale here, I mean, to end our preview.
Yeah. No, that's not bad. Tusca Inks on this one.
Wait a minute. Is that the page? No, that's not the right page. I had a cover. Marie Severin, Captain America cover.
Let's see.
Captain America 133.
Let's see. Well, it's you know what? In the description, in the text description, it has Incredible Hulk, but it shows a picture of the cover. I know which cover you're talking about. I imagine it's right here.
Okay, we're off.
You get MODOK in this one too.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that. I just reread this issue not a month or two ago.
Yeah, this is the origin of MODOK, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And it also has the Falcon and Red Wing, which was created by I think Marie, right? I mean, Marie's work has now gotten hot. I mean, she did some memorable covers for Marvel. I mean, period. She did a lot of memorable work in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's Severin and Sal inking. And Jewish Dragons mentioned the name of the Trimpe piece. It says, Herb Trimpe, We Love You, movie 1/1 format. So search for that and we can find it. I'm going to make a note of that. I'd love to see that. I mean, anything from that era would be pretty cool. I'm sure it was done on VHS or something.
It's really, really, it's charming. That's all I could say.
All right. But this is a fun cover. And I think that, and again, it's back to the storytelling of the day. I don't think Cap and MODOK ever really battled each other in the book. They were battling the bulldozer throughout it. But the cover kind of tells a different story. It's you think it might be a little different than it is. But yeah, I love this era of Marvel comics. So yeah,
early 1971 Marvel cover. I mean, again, these are they're just good. What's the price on this?
Only $5,250 right now.
Yeah, I mean that's reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Cap 133. We have a few Cap fans out in the audience.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the sale. We tried again to limit the number of items. We again raised the threshold, and I should say this sale is really going to be noteworthy because we have a Spider-Man 1 in 9.8, the highest grade ever. We have a lot of the key Marvels in the highest grade ever. Superman 1 in 7.0. I mean, these are all like $1 million books.
Mhm.
So this is going to be a big sale, and the art in the sale is just great. And again, as I said, I'm amazed by the amount of new to the market, that came from professionals that is available. And then things from, like, sadly, like I said, Kevin's collection, and then great stuff from David's collection. It's just really good stuff. I was very excited going through the stuff.
Well, I'll be like a lot of people. I'll be watching on Thursday, seeing how the platinum goes. That's always fun.
Yeah.
I think there's 650-ish original art lots throughout all the days of the auction, so plenty of stuff for people to check out and throw a
Yeah.
few bids in.
You going to do a review?
Yeah, well, I always do. One way or another, I'm going to do it. I'm late as always, but I'll email the regular crew and see who's available. Try to probably do it. I've been leaving most of this month open, so almost every Monday and Tuesday and the rest of the month I don't have anything scheduled, because I just felt like I might need to do a special announcement for OAX or those sorts of things. So plus I'm pretty much working from the time I get up to the time I go to bed on the show. So I didn't want to do, I don't have any. Yeah, and I'm looking at my schedule. No, I literally don't have anything scheduled on Monday or Tuesday for the rest of the month. So it should be very easy for me to pick a day, try to get. I'll ask Dino, Nick, and Albert and Mike. Mike's kind of been a party pooper of late. He hasn't done one in like a year. So I don't know why.
Well, you know why? I wouldn't say a year, but certainly from when football season begins, and then he's more involved than ever before, I think. And,
right, exactly. But I don't know why. He's I don't know. I'll try to convince him to be on the next one. But we had Michael Lovitz helped us out once. I mean, that was good. I mean, we had Dan Poddick on as well.
Yeah. Dan did a really good job.
Dan did. Dan's been around a long time. I mean, and he's one of those guys that does a lot of research. I think I remember. I mean, he doesn't post everything in his CAF gallery, but just seeing all the stuff that's in his collection, he's very knowledgeable. He's bought a lot, sold a lot. He's somebody I wouldn't mind having back and doing.
No, I know Dan very well, and he's lives in Jersey, so he used to come over and we used to visit. He's a good guy. He used to live in the city. He's very how do I put it, pensive. I mean, he puts a lot of thought into everything, and he's got a very strong opinion of, like, that page should go for such and such, and that page is so that's why I was surprised. He's very articulated and much more even handed in when he was doing it. And of course, Dino is just great. So, like I said, he has more insights than I do on a lot of the stuff. So, no doubt about it.
Well, I will make sure that I have a good team with me to do this. But yeah, we'll definitely do it the next week. I'll see if we can do it Monday or Tuesday, whatever works for most people's schedule. And hopefully we'll get Albert once more. But Joe, as always, lots of fun. I do hope you can make it to OAX. It'd be great if you could.
I will see. Yeah.
If you can't, I will not allow you not to come to year 2. You need to get down there. I mean, it would be you can't do it. The first time you do a show, it's going to be kind of special, just because it's going to feel like we're doing it out of our garage in its own way. Although it doesn't quite look like that. But yeah, I'd love to have you come down though.
All right.
I think a lot of.
I will do my best.
Okay. Awesome. Well,
I got to convince the boss upstairs.
Yeah, whom we've not seen for almost a year too. I know she's been busy. You had to move and everything like that.
Yeah, but the problem is she's very happy not being on the air. She's very happy.
Hey, she did really well those first.
She says, "Look," she says, "how about if I sit on the sofa? But you have to promise not to tell them I'm sitting on the sofa." I said, "Really? You're going to be right over there, and you're not even going to have a comment about." She says, "No. Then Bill will have me coming on, and she'd prefer not to."
Well,
we'll have to get around it sometime
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we just do. Remember, I told you I would love to do a segment from your time in the hobby. Whether we focus on Christie's, or we focus on Frazetta, or we focus on Carmen Infantino. Where we're not talking about it. It's not a preview, right? We're talking about a certain era in time that relates to you both. That maybe we can get her back for something like that, because I really do want to do shows like that. I mean, it would be great to do deep dives on any of those eras or artists that you got to work with for extended amounts of time.
Yeah.
As you've been really fortunate. So something to think about. But hey, we literally just hit the 2-hour mark. But so everybody knows this. It starts on Thursday early afternoon. Is it 1 o'clock Central?
Is 12 o'clock Central, isn't it?
12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's
and don't be late, because we try to limit the amount of time in the platinum session, so it only lasts 2 hours at the most, and the original art might last less than an hour. So let's see, it's on Thursday, it's 12 o'clock Central, which is 1 o'clock Eastern, and then on Thursday afternoon, the comic books follow at 1:30, and then the comics, what day is only comic art? Session 5 and session 3. So session 3 is Friday at 1 o'clock.
And then you get 5 on Sunday.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. We made it through.
We did it.
Yeah.
It's been quiet, totally quiet here. Peaceful.
No, it's been noisy here, but it's okay. We made it.
Yep.
So thank you again. And anybody want to get in touch with me, ask about reconciling, if they're interested in buying something and consigning something.
And your email address is literally right there, joem@ha.com. So you know how to reach out to Joe if you got questions about consignments, how to do, if you're a new buyer, bidder, all that. It's all, you can reach out to him. He can fill you in on the different things that Heritage has to offer. So as always, Joe, I appreciate it. Say hi to Nadia for me.
I will.
You guys had a great holiday, and then, we've got another new year of art collecting. So we'll see what 2024 has.
That's right. We should have started off with Happy New Year to everyone. So,
I mean, we do have the best ofs coming up too. So, and Heritage is still a sponsor of that. So maybe you guys can pop on and do the intro with me.
Maybe Jim will. You should invite Jim again.
Well, I could ask Jim, but
he'll do that. He doesn't mind the brief appearance,
I know. Well, the last time we did it, we talked about having him on for a full interview sometime in 2023, and it didn't happen. But so maybe maybe we do that, and then I have a couple dates in mind. I try to pin him down for it, but it will be the 6th, February 6th is when we'll have the award ceremony. So one way or another, whether it's Jim or it's you and Nadia, the invitation's always open. We could have you all on.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, have a good night.
Thank you.
As always, thanks everybody for tuning in and hanging out with us. We had a good time looking at the artwork.